Okay, in this demo, I'm going to show you how to create a new project and additionally how to set up some image planes to go along and begin the modeling of this new project. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I will click on File and I'm going to come down to Project Window. All right, and this is going to pop up right here. Now what I want to do is I want to specify the location where I would like. I'm sorry. First of all, let's go ahead and click on New. Let's name this project, and I'll call this one Image Plane Demo. All right, let's go ahead and specify a location. I will click on this folder, and it'll open up a Select Location window. Specify where you'd like that to be saved. Hit Choose. And now what's happening here is we have the primary project location, secondary project, etc. What it's going to do is it's going to create a subfolder for each of the common asset types that will be associated with your Maya project. We will go ahead and just use the default settings. I'll press Accept. Okay, now if I toggle over to Finder, you'll see that it's created a new folder for me right here. I will go ahead and just go to my Source Images folder, and what I want to do is I want to drag my orthographic reference over into that folder. Now when we create the image planes and we go to link them up in Maya, it will, or the program will reference the source images folder by default. So it's just nice putting those files in there so that they're easy to find. All right, back here in our viewport, let's go ahead and click on Panels, come down to Orthographic, New, and I'm going to select a new front camera. Okay, now I want to go to the attribute editor that is right over here on my right. I'll select that attribute editor tab. If that tab is not available, there's a little toggle visibility icon. It's the third from the right, up here in the upper right hand corner. I will collapse my camera attributes. We don't need those. I'll collapse my film back, and I want to expand the environment section of this menu. You'll see this little option for image plane, and I want to click on Create. Now when I do so, you're going to see this little crosshair appear in the center of this orthographic view in the viewport. Now also simultaneously over here in the attribute editor, you'll see this new image plane attribute window pop up. We have this image plane field, and next to that field we have a little folder icon. Go ahead and click on that folder icon, and since we're setting up a front ortho, I will go ahead and select Mailbox Front and Open. Okay, let's go ahead now and create a side ortho, or side image plane. So I'll click on Panels, come down to Orthographic, New, Right. Okay, back over here in the attribute editor, by default it will be opened up to whatever we were viewing last. So in the environment, the image plane, I'll click on Create. We'll come to the image plane field, I'll click on the folder and select Side, press Open. And then finally, we'll click on Panels, come down to Orthographic, come down to New, and Top. Come over to the attribute editor, click on Create for the image plane. Click on that little folder to open this up and select Mailbox Top and hit Open. All right, so now we've created 3 distinct image planes. So let's click on this icon right here in our toolbar. This will toggle us back into the perspective viewport. Now, when you do that, chances are you're not going to see anything unless you zoom out. Okay, because by default it's creating these image planes and it's kind of keeping them a little ways out of the way. What I am going to do is I will come over here and I will select the image plane itself. I don't want to select the camera, which is actually creating the projection for the image plane, but I'll do a little drag selection to make sure that I get the border of that image plane. You can see it's changed from that magenta to this light green, meaning that it is selected. I'm going to come right back over here to where the attribute editor is normally located. I'll click on the channel box tab. All right, the channel box tab is going to show the translation position of that image plane. Currently it is at a positive 95. I actually want to change that to a negative 10 on the x-axis. All right, so if we zoom back out, you'll see that it's placed nicely right here over or in our grid. So let's go ahead and do the same thing with the front. So I'll do a drag selection over the image plane only. I don't want to touch the camera. It's a positive 95 on the translate Z axis. Let's go ahead and change that to negative 10 as well. Once again, it's placed it nicely within our grid, so it's easy to work with. Let's come up here. We'll grab this last one. Right, this is the top ortho. So select just the image plane. We'll change it from 95, or a positive 95 on the translate Y axis. And once again, I'll set that value to negative 10. So now that we have all three image planes right down here where they are nice and easily accessible. One additional thing that I'm going to do is we will click on the outliner icon, right, which is below the for viewport mode over on the toolbar. We'll click on that, and that shows us each of the individual components that comprise this Maya scene. What I want to do is select all the new cameras that I've created, so the front one, right one, and top one, in addition to their respective image planes. All right, so everything in my scene that I have added has now been selected. Coming back over to the channel box editor, if you look at the bottom, we have the layers editor. What I want to do is, with all these selected, is I want to click on this rightmost icon. Right, if I hover my mouse over it, it's called create a new layer and assign selected objects to that layer. So we'll go ahead and click on this. And now what we can do is, with these objects being part of this layer, you see this little checkbox has a V in it. You can toggle it off and on to hide the visibility of the image planes, because quite frankly, when you're modeling, sometimes visually they're getting in the way. Now, in addition to that, we have another checkbox next to that. If I toggle it to a T, I'm not sure exactly what the T stands for, but it kind of turns our selection, or the things that are in this layer, to a wireframe view. If I click on that again, we get an R. Now I can deselect everything, and when that second checkbox has an R in it, everything is locked, so that I cannot inadvertently grab one of my image planes and kind of shift it around while I'm modeling my model. All right, I'll come back to the for viewport mode. Okay, so you can see in the upper left-hand corner we have the top view, the lower left-hand corner we have the front view, and the lower right-hand corner we have the side view, with the perspective camera being in the upper right. Now, where this is beneficial and how we set up our orthographic images, or our image planes, is that with it in place here, we can actually grab just one or a couple of these different geometric primitive shapes. Right, I'll just grab the plane here, and we can actually draw it out or drag it out to match the contours of what it is that we are modeling. Now you can see at the moment this new plane that I've created is opaque. In the viewport submenu, if I click on shading, I can actually come down to X-ray, where it'll kind of change that to about an approximate 50% opacity. And I can move that around, reposition it. I can right-click on it. I can select one of these edges and just edit the edge, so that I can be a lot more precise in how I'm lining up with the contours of my reference, etc. All right, so I'll let you guys take it over from here. Good luck, and this is how you do image planes.